welcome to Evergreen Speedway Weekly News. This is our second edition, kind of our throwback style, as we are here with one of the legends of Evergreen Speedway, a Hall of Fame inductee in 2015, the Crazy Cajun, Mr. Vern Deitz, and his granddaughter, one of the competitors out in the Super Stock Figure 8, Mackenzie Deitz. Welcome, guys, and thanks for being on here with us. We are in beautiful Arlington, Washington at the Dad's Fix-It shop, they call it here, as we were talking about back in the day, this is sort of the kids, all the, mini kids that raced under the Deitz name at the track have brought their cars, and other kids as well brought their cars to get fixed here at the shop. And Vern, a legend of the track, as when I first came over here, it was a name that you gotta interview Vern Deitz. You gotta interview Vern Deitz, the Crazy Cajun. He's got a lot of great stories, a great name over there. 3-time champion at Evergreen Speedway, a multi-time winner at Evergreen Speedway and Spanaway, amongst other races around the Northwest. And Vern, we're going to start with you. Maybe just tell people how you got started in racing and why you got started in racing back in the day.
I had moved to Cedar Woolley and got a job at a sawmill, and my cousin Jim Deitz raced at Skagit, and I was over at his house just visiting, and he was building a new car, and said, well, why don't you come out to the track with me and see what you think of it? And so I did, and basically it was kind of a, wow, this looks like a lot of fun. And at that time I wasn't quite ready to have a car, but Jim talked me into, I traded a car to get his old car that he had, and I only raced like 8 races, and then my wife, of course, Kathy was pregnant, and we had group health, so we ended up having to come back to Seattle. And when we came back to Seattle, I had arranged, because he had asked me before if I would work there, and Bob Goodson had the Shell station on Empire and Rainier, and I worked there, and lo and behold, here comes this foremost dairy truck. It was a ramp truck, and on the truck was Ralph Lewis's and Jim Campbell's 57 DeSoto. And I mean, I was like, wow, where do you race that at? And they said Evergreen Speedway, and I went, oh, cool. Yeah, we're gonna race tonight at, I think they said 6 o'clock or something like that. And he said, come on out. And I said, well, I'll have to be a little later because I had to work till 7:30. But they invited me, told me how to get there because I'd never been there. And I went, and they invited me to come down on Thursday nights and help them with the car. And one thing leads to another. And so I decided that I knew a gentleman that was a welder at that time. I couldn't weld, I wouldn't even try it. But that's basically how I got started. I bought an old 57 Ford and put a roll cage in it. My dad and I built a trailer, and my dad towed it to the track for me. And that's pretty much how I got started. The number of the car, 67, came from when I bought the material for the car to put the cage in it. It cost $67. I wanted number 21, but I'm trying to remember his name. Him and his dad were both very into the figure 8 thing. But I paid $67 for it, and 13 cents. Well, 6 and 7's 13, so I said, I'm going for it, because it was one of the numbers that was available. There was a lot of cars. I mean, a lot of cars. And that's how I ended up with that number.
You've raced against a lot of guys over the years, so let's talk about who are the guys that, guys and gals, who are the ones that you enjoyed racing against the most back in the day?
In all sincerity, and I don't mean this to be polite, but I just enjoyed racing, and I looked at the other cars, and on the track, I should say, as just obstacles. They're just things you got to drive around to get to the front, But there was a lot of them that you could race with, and then there was a lot of them that were a little rambunctious and did things a little unorthodox. And usually we have words, polite ones. But yeah, that's pretty much. I don't, I looked up to a lot of people, over the years that taught me to do this better than what I was doing, but like Wayne Crum and Lee Daly and Carl Zarinsky too, and many of the other ones, the older ones to me, and it was neat because they took the time and they would come over and talk to you and race you, not be belligerent about it, just and it was a lot of fun, As far as probably, if I had to pick out anybody that I ever had a lot of problems with, it'd have to be Greg Scott, and he knows it. I mean, it has to be, but we get along fine. As racers, we're both very competitive, and we both did things to each other that probably led up to a lot of the, the anger and the hatred there for a while. But he's a good guy, But that would be my only pick.
You've won a lot of races over the years. You've had a lot of big memories. Is there that one win, that one big race that stands out to you more than any others?
Yeah, I think for me, the original Figure 8 Nationals race, I won the first one, and I think out of all of them, that was probably one of my proudest moments to be able to pull that off. It was really, really enjoyable, and really a very clean Figure 8 race, but a lot of intersection action, because we started like, I don't know, I think we started 30 cars.
How many cars total were there that day?
Pardon?
How many cars were there total that day?
43 or 44.
44 cars, wow, pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
we had an A and B line too, where if, like, per se I broke or something, I went into pits and got a tire changed or something like that, they'd send out another car from the B line. But if we were on the track, we were the A line, so we could come back, so that you could accumulate more cars. I mean, as many as all we had, But yeah, it was it was pretty exciting, and you had such a variety of times. It was just. I mean, you had, you hear the Cup guys say it all the time. Get up on the wheel. Well, I'm guaranteeing you didn't get off the wheel. You were on that wheel, and you were making sure where you were going. But that was a lot of fun.
So you have a pretty famous name at the track, the Crazy Cajun. How did you get that nickname?
Originally, Hardwick, I went and got my hair done, and I got it all curled like Richard Petty, and he called me, he came down, and I think I won a race that night, and he goes, "You look like the Louisiana Frenchman." I went, "No, don't think so." And he called me that for a little while, and then I built the Cougar, and the nickname for the Cougar was Crazy Cage, because I did a lot of different things with bars and stuff that, and Hardwick heard about it, and he converted the car's nickname to the Crazy Cajun, and that's where it came from.
We've talked about, your racing times like that, but now you're out there at the track quite a bit because your family's still out there. What's it like for you to have so many of your family members still carrying on the Deitz name at Evergreen Speedway?
I think I have to tell you this story because it kind of goes hand in hand with how I feel about it all. But when Ricky first started racing, he bumped me out of the trophy dash. He turned a faster time than I did. And what happened was Hardwick came down and interviewed me after that, and he says, "Well, how do you feel about that?" And I said, "Got to think about that a minute." I said, "I'm proud as hell, but I'm also pissed off because he bumped me out of the dash." But and now to carry that over, and on, it's a hell of an honor, and I'm very proud of all of my kids. They're they're dedicated to it. They love doing it, and that's what's important. You'll stay and you keep doing it. You know, it's just part of a lifestyle that racers get, and that's what they do. And yeah, I'm proud of each and every one of them. I'm very proud of her. You know, she's come a long way. I mean, quickly, very quickly, she caught on, and everybody there appreciates her and they like her. She's, you know, and it makes me super proud.
Mackenzie, for you, let's kind of go back kind of on your story, how you, I mean, pretty easy to say how you got your start with your family, but maybe tell people how you got your start into racing, because it's kind of recent for you.
It is recent. So a few years ago, Jamie actually was the first, Jamie Corbett. He runs the 76 Stinger now, but he actually let me take it out for a girls race a few years ago, and I fell in love. I absolutely loved it. A couple years ago, Doug had Papa's old championship car, the Cougar, available, and you know, him and I had talked about running it, and I was like, absolutely, any chance I got to be in a car, you know, I'm more than happy to do it. You know, the agreement was you come and you work on it, or you don't race it. It's not an arrive and drive type of deal, but you know, it was an awesome opportunity, and I loved every minute of it. I didn't get a chance to finish out the season, but this year it started out with Papa's car, one behind us. It started out with, you know, wanting to take it out just for a practice. Not too much more into that. It wasn't much more of a conversation. It was really just, let's go out, take it to practice, and we did, and I loved it, and that kind of turned into, well, you're racing this season, so I embraced it, and I've been in love with it ever since I've gotten in it.
What's it like for you to race the number 67? You kind of heard the story of why, you know, the number, but that's a pretty legendary number at Evergreen Speedway, especially in figure out racing. What's it like for you to carry on the family tradition of that number?
I'm completely honored to be able to race that number. It's the only number that I've ever raced, and it's the only number that I will race until he retires it, if he does.
It is retired.
Oh, well, I unretired it.
but I mean, I can put it on my car. It is actually a retired number in the Fear Club.
Yeah.
It's not at Evergreen Speedway, you know, they didn't, because we don't, you know, but it was actually retired in the Figure 8 Club.
I would have ran it anyways. Just kidding. But it's, you know, it's, you know, Papa's the one that started all of this, and, you know, I don't think that any of us would be racing without him, so it's definitely an honor to be able to race that number. And, you know, I run that number because, I mean, Papa's family, and you know, I want to carry on the Deitz, the tradition in our family, as well as the rest of our family does. But I think that, you know, I don't think I could run another number in figure 8 just because of what it means to me.
You kind of have, I always joke when I announce, you never hear this because I'm always announcing you're in the car, but you're a banker during the week and a race car driver during the weekend. So talk about that. It's kind of a completely different sides of the pendulum there.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. So when people find out that I race cars as a hobby, they don't believe me for one. I actually just came from work, so I don't normally look like this at the track or at the shop. But people don't believe me because I'm all dressed up and normally in high heels. And so when I actually, you know, I actually have to show them a picture, and then they're like, "Oh, like you actually know how to drive a car, and you know, you do that." And so then I start explaining it, and then as soon as I start talking about, you know, what it's like and the terminology about the car and showing up to shop night every week, then their mouths just kind of drop, and they finally get it and it sinks in. But most of the time they think I don't know what I'm talking about, and I like to prove them wrong. I think I get that attitude from him.
We have a special guest coming into the shop too. By the way, 4 Great Danes in this shop. You pull in. I'm a big guy, and the only thing that scares me is big dogs. They're all very, very nice, big Great Danes. So, and they're champion Great Danes too. So they're amazing show dogs. Mackenzie, you're kind of in a sport we've talked about a little bit there. It's a male-dominated sport. What's it like being a female in a male-dominated sport?
I try not to let it get to me. As far as I try not to look at being a female in a male sport. I'm just a racer in the sport. I think that, you know, a lot of people look at female drivers and think that there is just a little bit of a thought process that goes into that compared to a male driver, but I try not to let that get to me at all. I try to just go out there and learn just like the guys would do, go out and you know, have fun just like the guys do. I mean, when we're all in the pits and we're hanging out, you know, I'm one of the guys. So they make fun, and I always make fun of them, and I talked to them and said, hey, you guys needed some girls in this class because there was just too much testosterone in it. So that's kind of the running joke. And then when Jillian came out last weekend with us in the zero car, you know, I just started laughing, and I was like, you know what, we needed another girl in this class. There was just too much testosterone, and so it's been kind of fun.
So I'm going to swing back over to you, Vern, really quick. There probably wasn't a whole lot of ladies racing back in the day as much as there is now. How do you feel about how the sport's kind of evolved, or you have more lady racers?
We actually had a couple that during my era of racing that were pretty darn good at the sport. But myself personally, I don't look at them as women or as, you know, girls on the track or whatever it is. They're just fellow drivers. I mean, you know, and one of the reasons that Mackenzie's in my race car is because she is a female, and I think there should be more of them in the sport. I really do. I don't disrespect anything that they do, you know, and I think like with her, she brings a less testosterone and a brighter attitude. How's that? You know, no, but she does. She lightens it up. I mean, she, you know, she makes it fun, you know. And me, I'm a one-track mind when it's race car, you know. I'm race car, but she makes it more fun. She throws things out there, and, you know, and I think the sport needs that too, you know. I mean, because most of the men, you know, were, like she said, we're arguing or fighting with each other most of the time because of the terminology she used. But you know, no, I think it's good for the sport. I think you know, there's a couple in the outlaw class that are doing quite well, and I think, you know, I really think it's a good thing.
Mackenzie, for you, do you have any, I mean, you kind of grew up at the racetrack with your family, stuff like that, and you've been, you know, your race career now. Do you have that one story or that one memory that sticks out to you more than anything else about racing?
I don't have just one memory. I think that there's so many that it would be extremely hard to pick out one. You know, when you go to the track, you go out there and you meet a bunch of people. You go there with your family, and you gain friends who turn into your family. You know, that's one thing that I do love about the track, and just the entire experience that I love as far as the memories, is all of the friends and the friends that become family, and the race family that you have out there. You know, how united everybody is. You know, we may all bicker and get in arguments and frustrated because, you know, something happened, but at the end of the day, you know, if something were to happen, we'd all go out there and help. You know, and that's one of the things that I love about this sport. You know, with the Super Stock Figure 8 guys last weekend, the motor blew, so I wasn't able to race. So it was just more of a relaxed day for me. And, you know, I really got down in the pits and just started hanging out with everybody, and, you know, it was just hilarious. Doug Delfell was giving Eric Alexson some, you know, hard times, and it's just hilarious watching them go back and forth off the track, but then watching them go on the track and, you know, kind of put all that aside and, you know, as Papa said, get the obstacles out of the way. But that's what I think that I value most in this entire experience is, you know, just the friends and the family and the relationships that you've built.
Vern, I want to kind of go back to one more thing with you. Is in 2015 you were inducted into the Evergreen Speedway Hall of Fame. What did that mean to you?
It was probably, you asked me earlier about one of the fondest memories in racing, and as far as my racing career goes, I can't think of anything or an honor that could be given to someone any better than what that was to me. I was very, very, very happy and proud to get there, and you know, I congratulate all of them that were there before I was, and any of the new ones to come. It's a hell of an honor, and I'm proud, and that's probably the other reason that I still do the race car thing, and because it's always been part of my life, so but yeah, it was a very, very, very important, and very proud to receive it, and that's, I don't know any other way to put it, and the trophy is probably incredible. It's beautiful, very, very pretty.
I talked to Carl Zaretsky last week and asked him the same question. What is your thought towards the health of racing nowadays compared to back in the day?
Well, there was a period of time, I think, where, after the towers were blown and stuff like that, I think that a lot of things, we had an indoor karting facility, and it was like somebody turned off the light switch, and everything more family orientated. People were staying home with their families and stuff, and I think racing kind of, for me, when I ran, there was a lot of cars. I mean, we had lots of cars, and then I seen it decline, and now I think I've also, at this point, watching it increase, which I think is golden. I mean, that's, and I think some of that at Evergreen Speedway has to do with Mr. Hobbs and his life. They've turned it around, and that was the other thing that happened an awful lot in the old days, was just too much political things that went on that just, I don't know how to explain it. There was some injustices done, in different manners of scorekeeping or rule changing or rule cheating or, other things like that being allowed to go on, and I don't see that now. And I'm happy to race, and I don't have I don't think it's got to the capacity it once was, but I think it can get there. I'd like to see the crowds improved, and but I don't know what the magical answer to that is. I mean, obviously Mr. Hobbs is wanting bigger crowds and stuff, but I will say this, I had some people with me at the track when we did the demo and the boat race and all that stuff, and that was one of the most fantastic fireworks I ever saw. I mean, it was phenomenal. I can't wait till the 4th, because I'm sure it's going to light her up. But no,
For sure. And Mackenzie, you talked briefly about that you lost your motor last race, which the motor sitting back behind us here, and I know they were working on it last night. You guys are working on it a little later on. So what's the plan now for the rest of the year?
So we are taking, the motor's out, and we are putting a new one in. We had a couple different options, and we decided on one final one. So hopefully this week and next week, and we'll be able to work on it and get it in. And Papa's definitely been incredible with the time that he's put in and just the knowledge that he has. Teaching me, I actually got underneath it and helped replace the drive, take apart the drive line and replace the clutch. That was fun. It was just us. And that thing's heavy. And it's not easy getting under that car, but hopefully we'll be able to get it done and ready for the 4th.
All right. Well, thank you guys both for being on and sharing
That's
this.
one thing about her, though. She wants to learn the mechanical end of it too, as well as the driving end of it. And I think it's important, because I think, it helps you with, the understanding of all the racing things and the components that it takes to keep it racing, and, and be able to fix it when you need to fix it. And she's phenomenal. She goes and gets wrenches, and she gets under there, and I don't see no grease under her fingernails, but I'm sure there
I
was.
hide it with dark fingernail polish.
But no, she's into it, you know, and that excites me because, you know, just the way it is.
Passion is something that every racer needs and needs to have, and it's good to see how it's been passed on from generation to generation and generation. And let's keep going as you know, we got more family coming to the track, and younger kids of the family are coming there as well. So thank you guys both for being on, and we look forward to seeing you out there this year and keeping that tradition of the 67 number going. $67 back in the day. It's pretty amazing how the time has changed. I don't know how much you can get for $67. You can't even get a tire for $67 nowadays. So pretty amazing how the rules changed, but the family name is kept on, the Deitz Racing family here in beautiful Arlington, Washington. So thank you guys for joining us on Evergreen Speedway with the News. I'm Jeremy Anders signing off.